Hello out there, my cyber friends. This is the Midi Man coming back at you again from Walker's Music with another word for today, the Holy Word. Today we're going to come from the book of Galatians, the letter of Paul to the Galatians, starting at 6th chapter, starting at the first verse. It says, "Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith." May God add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of this holy word. I read to you 10 verses of chapter 6, letter to the Galatians. Paul was telling, he wrote the church to the church of Galatia, he was telling the saints that if a brother be overtaken in a fault, those of us who say we are spiritual, we should restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, being low-witted. Don't get big-headed and high-minded like I'm so good, lest you also be tempted. Sometimes we think that we forget that we were once darkness ourselves. And when we have been redeemed, and when we have come to the marvelous light to know the truth and been set free, we should, in the spirit of meekness and humbleness, deal with our fellow man. And so he's telling us to bear one another's burdens. In other words, we get too caught up with this selfishness. In other words, everything is about me and mine. I don't care about nobody else. As long as I got mine, I don't care whether you get yours or not. It's not the spirit. That's not the attitude to have. And Paul is telling us this in this here passage. He said, now, every man will bear and shall bear your own burden. But sometimes it's just good to have somebody when you're going through that you can say and talk to. You know that song says, to have a little talk with Jesus makes it right. True, that is so true. But when you got another brother that you could, or sister, that you can talk to and relate some things to, sometimes make you feel better. That they may not totally understand what you were going through unless they've been through that same particular thing, but they can have a general idea. Then it says here, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. For whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. Now that word, that's a big word. See, in other words, he's telling Paul saying, now a lot of people take this here passage and they think that just means only the bad thing that we do to each other. But it means good also. He's saying, don't be deceived. That's what it first thing he said, don't fool yourself. Then he said God is not going to be mocked, meaning God is not going to be made a fool out of. He's not going to be made a fool. He said whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. Now let's take this here a little further. Got a little bit more time here. If you plant tomato seeds, you don't go out there and look for squash. If you sow turnip seeds, you don't go back out there and look for collards. Understand what I'm saying? Whatsoever you sow, That is what that word, that same thing is what you're going to read. So in other words, if you are sowing discord and breaking peace with folk, look for something to happen to you on that same thing. Somebody going to break your peace. Somebody going to cause havoc in your life because we reap exactly what we sow. You don't plant watermelon and go back out there and look for plums. You plant watermelon, what you're going to get. So that's what Paul was saying. Let us not be weary and well doing, whatever, knowing that whatever we sow, we will reap. So people are not using you. Let me make that plainly clear. No one is using you. When you choose to do good, you're just you sowing in you investing in your future, because good will come back to you. Now it may not come back to the people that you do it for. Sometimes, most of the time, it won't come back from the people that you do your goodness for, because most of the time those are the ones that give you their butt to kiss, the people that you do the most for. But you can rest assured that whatever you do good is coming back. It's coming back. I've heard them say, when you cast your bread upon the water, not only will God bring bread back to you, but he'll put butter on it. So hey, let us not get weary and well doing, except for in due season. If you got patience, you will reap. Due season sometimes is what gets us. We don't want to wait. We don't have the patience. But if we have patience, keep doing good, you will reap if you don't faint. This is Midi Man coming from Walker's Music, acting on YouTube. Let's keep your head up, keep the spirits high, and keep your eyes on the word. May God bless you. Peace.
Thank you.